Hello, this is Kelvin, aka the Mama's Boy, and this is 50.com.
Yo, what's up guys? It's Tracy VA with thisis50.com. I'm with my special guest Kelvin Tiller. He's about to give us some information and behind the scenes of what it's like to be an MMA fighter. How you feeling today?
I feel good. Thanks for having me.
Good. So I've noticed that you don't do like a lot of coverage about your business and you being an MMA fighter. So what made the change recently?
A lady named Tiffany, Sleeves, Michelle Baker, my business partner. They keep telling me social media is everything, so now I'm trying to get up on it.
And how's that been?
It's been good. It's actually been fun. I feel like I've missed out on a lot, but I actually like doing all these things, so yeah.
Well, you have a really dope background, just being an MMA fighter. How did you even get into that? And tell us what that life is like.
I got into MMA just as a kid. I grew up fighting a lot. I grew up getting into a lot of trouble, but at the same time, I always wanted to take my fighting abilities to the next level. And I just had this guy one day. I was coming from college. I had this guy at a grocery store, and he tried to get me to go to a fight. And I'm just telling him, I don't want to fight. I don't want to go look at the fights. I want to go fight. And he told me how to train for those things. And I just, trying to be cocky. I was like, I can fight. I don't want to do any of those things. I want to go, kick butt. And so anyways, he gave me a number to a guy, and I started training. I got my butt beat, and I knew I wanted to do it ever since then. So yeah.
What is that process like? Like, do you have to get your hands registered? Is there?
Yeah, we're trained. We're not necessarily trained killers. They don't want to use the word trained killers. They're trained to submit. But we don't have to go to no certain paperwork or anything to be a trained fighter or nothing like that, no.
Okay, so you were telling me that you got into a fight and since then you want to be a professional fighter. You gotta give us some details of your first fight.
No, you talking about my first professional fight?
No, your first fight.
Like street fight?
Yes.
No, I had a lot of street fights. I've been fighting since I was like 8 years old.
Why were you so aggressive?
It wasn't me, just coming from where I come from, you had to fight. The background that I come from, we lived in a very, very bad neighborhood, and you had to fight. There was no such thing as going out there and playing basketball or football and not getting into a fight. So we had to fight.
Talk about this bad neighborhood you're from.
The neighborhood that I'm from is called Eastgate. It was all Crip neighborhood, and let's just say, even though it was called Topeka, Kansas, it was a small town. It was very brutal, and that's all that I really got to say about it. It was brutal.
So where was the pivot? Like, at what moment did you know that you could do this professionally?
After I got beat up when I was 18.
How did that make you feel?
Yeah, it kind of...
Because that doesn't sound good, getting beat up.
It don't sound good, but I was considered tough in my neighborhood. I was beat up grown men at the age of 15, 16 years old. So to go into the gym at 18 years old, the first time to get beat up by a man that was way smaller than me and make me cry and send me home about my weight, he told me if I wanted to learn, I had to come back the next day. And I came back the next day at 7 o'clock. And from that moment on, I got beat up. I knew I wanted to do this.
So I don't know much about the lifestyle, but I know it takes a lot of training. Can you tell us about what it's like training for being an MMA fighter, especially mentally too, because I'm sure it's a mental thing.
Yeah, a lot of guys go through these mental blocks, and they got to do certain things, rituals to get them ready for fights. I don't have to do any of those things. As far as me, like I said, the background that I come from and just beating the streets is just a beautiful thing for me. So I don't have to prepare myself or psych myself up to fight these guys. I just love it. A good training week for me is 6 o'clock in the morning, cardio, 1 o'clock we do boxing, and then for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we go straight to 6 o'clock, sometimes 7:30, and we do wrestling, jiu-jitsu. That's just 6 days, 3 times a day, 6 days a week for me most of the times.
Mm-hmm. So it's UFC, correct? That's what we call it?
No, ma'am. It's called Mixed Martial Arts, MMA.
Okay, I just have UFC here. I don't know. I was like, wait.
UFC is the organization.
Okay.
Like Bellator, PFL, that's the organization. That's where I'm working my way to.
And how is that going for you?
I do believe that I'm right there. When we're fighting, I'm there. Right now, I was supposed to fight yesterday, but they moved the whole event to May 3rd. I believe it's a Wednesday. So that's the new date, yes. I'm fighting Jared Vendera. He had 7 fights in the UFC. He just got released from the UFC just recently. So this is a huge fight for me, huge win for me. So after I win, hopefully I go straight to the UFC.
Of course.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm hoping that for you too. Have you ever had any injuries?
Oh.
And can you tell us some setback stories?
I broke my jaw. I was in a boxing match a long time ago. I broke my jaw. I done broke my ribs. I done tore my Achilles. I done broke probably every finger that I've had. Toes. I probably hurt everything on me. Absolutely everything. So when you look at my career, when you go to look at all my fights from when I first started tonight, I got big gaps in between because a lot of my injuries has been really bad. I actually had a Bellator contract 2 years ago. I signed a contract and the next day I threw my whole knee out of place and I was out for a little over a year. So I've had some injuries and some setbacks.
Have you ever came to the realization, oh, maybe I should stop and pursue something else? And how did you get past that?
I don't honestly think I've ever came to that point because of injuries. Just sometimes I know that I'm getting a check and I'm calculating things in my head and it don't go through. And I'm like, damn, I need to do something else, so I can provide for my kids. But I never really thought about giving fighting up. I do love fighting. I do enjoy fighting.
You have children?
Lots of them.
And what do they think of your job?
They hate it when I gotta leave and I gotta go train, but they do. My boys more so they do enjoy watching me fight and winning. But when I lose, it's bad for them for sure.
So this is 50.com. That's where we're at right now. Shout out to 50 Cent.
Shout out to 50.
What is on your playlist right now?
Mozzie, G Herbo, all of the old 50, all of the old Young Buck. Just a little bit of everything. I like, Coco Jones. That's my new shit right there.
That's some soft stuff right there. Sometimes you gotta lighten up the mood.
Sabrina Claudio, I do love my slow music though. I for sure love my slow music. So I got a little bit of everything.
Are people ever scared of you? Like, okay, let me not get too close. He might try.
Nah, I'm a big sweetheart. I don't try to be a tough guy.
It's just your job.
It's my job. I'm only a tough guy when I gotta go in there and the cage is locked and I go kick butt and then I'm back to normal after that.